Get ready to steep yourself in uplifting conversations, insightful stories, and practical wisdom. Without further ado, here's your host of the Confidence Tea podcast, Virginie Madiston. Welcome to the Confidence Tea podcast, where we brew up inspiration, self-discovery, and a sprinkle of empowerment, all over a cup of tea. Please.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Confidence Tea. I am so excited that you guys have joined us today. If this is your first time joining us, hello. Say hello in the chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm your host, Gigi, and we have some amazing tea for you today. We have Miss Tabatha Jones in the house. She is going to tell us how to stand out and win your next promotion. So, if this is the first time you're tuning in to Confidence Tea is all about transforming your mind, edifying your soul, and activating your confidence. Every week, we have some amazing women that come here to give you the tea and tell you how you can build your self confidence and live a more fulfilling life. And so I am so excited to get started today. So say hello, tap in the chat. Please give StreamYard permission. That way we can see your comments. It's definitely meant to be a dialogue and not a monologue. So we want to hear from you. So let me know where you're tuning in from, if you have any questions, and if you would like to be a guest on Confidence Tea, you can send us an email at confidenceteainfusions@gmail.com. And so, without further ado, I want to tell you all about our upcoming guest. Tabatha Jones is the CEO of Empowered Leadership Coaching, a career advancement and leadership coach. She's a keynote speaker and author with 20 plus years of leadership experience. She takes coaching to the next level. She took a leap from corporate America into coaching at the age of 51, where she now helps ambitious women break through career barriers, build unshakable confidence, and secure promotions faster. Her clients achieve leadership success by developing strategic career plans, elevating their visibility, and positioning themselves as top candidates for advancement. She specializes in working with Gen X women who are done playing small and want to make the next years the best of their career. So, without further ado, please welcome to Confidence Tea, Tabatha Jones.
Hi, thank you so
Hi,
much.
how are you?
I am good. How are you today?
I am wonderful. I am so excited to get into this conversation with you. Thank you so much for being a guest.
Oh, thank you for having me. And the name of your podcast is so exciting because I love spilling the tea on promotion secrets. So I'm
Yes, we're going to get
ready.
into some amazing secrets. And I know there's a lot of people watching that, want to climb up that corporate ladder, want to get another promotion. And so I'm just excited to get into this conversation with you. I'm going to zip it and I'm going to let you share with us some of these secrets. Give us the tea, Tabatha.
All right. Oh my gosh. So, a couple of things. So, one of the things that brought me into this space is seeing so many women struggle, especially in midlife, with the promotion cycle. And it turns out, this is not going to shock anyone in midlife who's a woman. It turns out that we tend to work really hard behind the scenes. We're everything to everyone. We'll drop anything for a meeting, no matter how small that meeting might be or how unimportant compared to the other priority, because we always want to keep everyone else happy. And what happens is we end up deprioritizing ourselves and our career goals. And one day we wake up and realize we've been in a position maybe 5 or 6 years longer than we anticipated.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you, that happened to me early on in my leadership career. And when I say 5 or 6 years, it was more like 8 years. I stayed in that
Wow.
same role for 10 years. thinking if I just work harder, if I just get a degree, if I just take on more responsibility. And what happened is I took on a lot and nothing really changed for me.
The needle didn't move. The needle didn't move at all.
It didn't. I was waiting for someone else to move it is the problem. And so
Mhm.
now teaching women the strategies of moving that needle for themselves. I call it getting back into the driver's seat of their career is what I teach. And when you speak about activating confidence, that is a huge piece of it. We've got to rebuild our confidence sometimes. Maybe we've been overlooked for a promotion. Maybe we have coworkers who are a lot louder than we are and better
Mhm.
at waving that flag and
Oh
taking
yeah.
credit for their work and sometimes even taking credit for your work in the
Yeah.
process.
I've been there. That
Oh,
happens
same.
way
Yeah.
too often. You
It
put in
happens a
all the
lot.
hard work and then you watch somebody else, climb that ladder and you're just left behind looking like, what?
Yeah. One of the most painful things that I hear from women is I applied for the promotion when my boss was leaving. I didn't get it. I didn't, maybe in some cases, even get an interview, but now I'm training my new boss.
Oh, yes.
So
I've heard that.
painful.
I have heard that plenty, and I think that is one of the most difficult things to endure. And my heart goes out to those women that, because I've heard a lot of people say that I train the person that you know is gonna be my boss.
Yeah. It happens way more often than we realize. And the interesting thing is, just a few strategy shifts can make all of the difference. So, kind of hopping into that a little bit, one of the things, and this is a gap for midlife women, one is really understanding your value. What do you bring to the business? What do you bring to the role that nobody else does?
Mhm.
When I ask that question, what makes you unique? What do you do better than anyone else? It's a struggle sometimes to get an answer.
That's true.
That comes across in a job interview. That
Mhm.
comes across in networking. And you can be phenomenal at what you're doing. You can be the best person at that thing or at that task. But if nobody knows and you can't articulate it, you're going to fall behind.
Yeah.
So it's really important. And sometimes it means, and those who are listening in today, it means just sitting in a quiet space for 10 or 15 minutes a day and writing down, who am I? We
Mhm.
get so caught up in, I'm a mom, I am a caretaker, I take care of these things, I do these
Mhm.
items, I do those items. We don't sit down and think about what makes us unique. What do we
Yeah.
bring to the table? How does our perspective shift the business?
Mhm.
How has our success led to the success of our team, or maybe more revenue for a company, or maybe solved a problem? We don't stop and think.
Mhm.
Taking the time to sit down and get that in writing is very powerful.
Yes, it is. I agree. I think sometimes, like you were saying, us not knowing the value that we're bringing to these companies, or we then basically give them the ammunition to devalue us and to you know not pay us our worth, and then also too to pass us up for a promotion and bring in Joe Schmo from XYZ company that knows absolutely nothing about all of the everything that it takes for that business to run, and then that's why they make you train Joe Schmo.
Yep.
So tell us, like, how can we get out of that mindset and be able to uh articulate what it is that we are really doing and what we're good at, our strengths, and that way we don't get passed up.
Yeah. It comes down to taking that time to reflect. We are doers. We are checklist checker offers. We don't pause and think about what was the impact of what I just accomplished. For me, running around, leading teams, climbing the ladder, whatever it was. It was just do this thing, get that thing done, do the next thing, and never stopping and thinking about, oh my gosh, the impact of that project that I just led means that our customer experience scores increased by X percentage, or
Mhm.
my employee survey scores increased, or I was able to resolve this major disconnect that our frontline call center was experiencing by solving this problem.
Mhm.
We don't set time in our calendars to stop, reflect, breathe, and look at the impact we're having. If we don't understand and we're not clear, if I don't know what I'm bringing to the table, you can't possibly know, and
Mhm.
no one else can articulate it for me.
That's true. Mhm.
Using the calendar is powerful, even if it's 30 minutes on a Friday afternoon, just to sit down and write it out. What did you accomplish? What was the impact? Grab those metrics and move forward with that. The other piece for women is getting comfortable talking about yourself. It's okay to talk about your accomplishments. It's okay to talk about what you've done. If I could have $1 for every time a woman asked me, "But isn't that cocky if I say that?" I would
No.
be like a billionaire. Ladies,
Oh,
we don't have it in us to be cocky. We have to be confident though,
yes.
or people lose confidence in us.
They
And
think you don't know what you're doing, or you don't know. And sometimes it's not that they don't know that you're good at your job, but because you come off as not, articulating, what that so then people downplay it. I think a lot of times employers know because they hired you. They know all the work you put in. They can see it. They see the hours and the time that it takes you to do these things, and they see you crushing goal after goal, but they don't want to recognize you.
there's that piece of it. And the other piece is sometimes people outside of your immediate workspace need to know about what you do. So, for example, I led technical teams. My boss on the technical side knew what I did. She could recognize me, she could reward me, she could do the things. I was taking care of major projects for the operations team, for the marketing team, for the customer service and customer experience teams, for our call centers. They needed to know the value of the work that I was doing. So being able to, one, understand my value, two, get very confident in talking about it, and then three, start having conversations with people outside of my immediate team so that the broader leadership team was aware of what I was doing. So
Mhm.
it comes down to that additional layer of visibility that's so important. I may have wanted my boss's job at some point and hoped that I would be promoted into it, but she needed to go somewhere for me to get it, right? So I'm like, well, I could be
Right.
sitting here for 100 years waiting for her to move on, or I could be looking at where do my skills transfer? What are my other opportunities? Who needs to know me? Who needs to know
Yeah.
what I can do? And I share this with women all the time because we get so comfortable in the hard work, staying at our desk, hiding out behind the scenes, doing all the things. And, our boss may give us that pat on the back, but how do you proactively become more visible and get out in front of the people who need to know you and can make a difference in supporting you when you're ready to make those career advancement moves?
Absolutely, absolutely. I completely agree because, sometimes you can just you'll wither and die with that
Mhm.
company, and the needle won't move. You won't get a promotion. We're talking about, they might give you a 10-cent raise, but but at the end of the day, is it really worth it? Is it worth it to even, but I think a lot of it comes from this information, us not knowing how to get out there and how to stand out and how to, you know, um, put ourselves out there in order to get another promotion.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd say as we approach midlife, we tend to hold back a little bit more. We don't want to upset anybody. We don't want anyone to feel like we're stepping on their toes. The
Hmm.
the problem is that we need to be in the room. All
Yeah.
diversity makes a difference. All diversity drives success for a company. That includes generational diversity. We
Mhm.
have learned things the hard way. We know that when the
Yep.
power goes out, we know how to go find the candle. Like, it's not that hard. We don't look for the phone that's not charged. It's we have different ways of thinking and being, and we need that seat at the table. We need to use our voices, and we're the ones that can often stop people from making really bad decisions because we have that experience. Um, it comes down to sometimes we worry so much about making a mistake or stepping on someone's toes. Nobody else is worrying about that. I have never worked with a
No.
man that said, "Oh, I don't want that person to be upset with me," or what if they feel like
Mhm.
you just go stomp on your toes in their nice shoes and move on.
Exactly. Exactly. We worry too much, and sometimes that does hold us back. Us,
Yeah,
worrying about, stepping on toes. And no one's worried about stepping on our toes.
exactly. The other thing that I find is really interesting is we don't protect our time very well. And
Mm,
what that means is we don't prioritize or set time on our calendars to work on our own goals or to
mm,
work on our own visibility and confidence building. And sometimes that may be attending a networking event or a leadership development training or something along those lines. And we will allow someone else to overwrite that on our calendar. And
mhm.
what happens is it sets us even further behind.
Yeah, it does. It
I
does.
shared I shared in my book just an example of a time when I showed up at it was a women's networking group. It was a golf event, which I don't know how anybody else feels about golf. Not my thing. I have no interest in chasing a little ball around
Me
the
neither.
lawn. But I said, I'm going to go anyway because it's a women's networking event and there's more to networking than just the golf ball. And I checked in with a few women. Hey, will you be there? Are you going to show up? And oh, yeah, yeah, I'm going to be there. Well, 80 to 85% of the attendees were men, naturally. And I reached out to the women that didn't show up and said, hey, what happened? And the commonality was someone threw something on my calendar and I couldn't attend. Oh, my boss needed something at the last minute. And I said, well, probably almost every man at that event had the same thing, but he felt confident in saying, I
I
have
got some.
another engagement. Yep.
Hmm. That's
You've seen it, you've
true.
heard it.
I've heard it. I've seen it. It's so true. We're so passive. Like we're just willing to, take on the burden and take on more responsibility and putting our own needs aside. And I think it's in our innate nature as women. We do it for our husbands, we do it for our children. So it's natural that we would do it for the work that we do as well.
Exactly. Exactly. But we
Mhm.
have to, if you want to climb that leadership ladder, you have to show that you're a leader. And that means prioritizing, that means setting boundaries and doing what you need to take care of yourself. The interesting
Absolutely.
fact that I was able to share back with the ladies that didn't make it is it was about so much more than golf. I had fun in the golf cart. Somebody else drove me around, so I didn't have to deal with it. Somebody else carried my club, so I didn't have to deal with it. But there was so much networking and so much happening with other companies that were represented at the lunch table, for example. I heard about open positions. I had people asking me what I thought about a situation they were dealing with. I
Mhm.
made I don't even know how many new connections at that table. So my point there is make yourself a priority, even if it's something you don't love to do. I've got so many introverted friends who are thinking, oh, people. It's like grab your extroverted friend and go see the people. It's important. That's how we move forward. That's how we build our
Yeah.
brand and build our confidence really at the end of the day.
Yeah, it does. Going to networking events and just socializing in general is such a confidence builder. And I always encourage people to, participate in those things and even continuing that elevator pitch, so that when someone says, what do you do? Or, who are you? Or, you're always ready to go. You have what it is that you do or who you are or what you stand for, and you're just ready to go. And so if you're not participating in these events or you're not going out and you're just focused on, you know whether it be home life, work life, you're not putting yourself in the position to win.
That's absolutely true. And the further you move yourself down on the priority list, the faster everyone else is going to pass you by.
Yeah, yeah.
Time is moving whether you are or not.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You're gonna get left behind.
It's absolutely true. And you mentioned family and having kids and all those things that take your time, and that's fair and reasonable. We have to be able to set some boundaries on all aspects to protect ourselves. It's that putting on your oxygen mask first on the airplane, right?
Yes, yes.
Because
And
if
no
you
matter
are
how many times we hear that, it's
right,
still such a struggle for us to put that into action. You travel so much. I hear every time I'm on the plane, you hear them say that. But when I get back to real life, I'm like, here's some oxygen. And I'm the one that can't breathe.
yeah,
So many times we just naturally do that.
we absolutely do. And what happens is we end up doing that so much that we get burnt out and we
Yeah.
start feeling overwhelmed and we're not showing up as our best selves anywhere, which then makes us start beating ourselves up, start losing our confidence. It's a
Yep.
vicious cycle.
Yep.
And it's
That we have to break. That we have to break. We have
we
to break
do.
that cycle. That's why I'm so thankful
Absolutely.
for you and just the amazing work that you're doing, helping women to stand out.
Thank you. It's so important and interesting that we will let anything else become a priority. And my mission right now is to help Gen X women really understand, and I say Gen X, midlife, however we all identify, it is the time. It's the time of our lives when we should be experiencing the most satisfaction. We should be feeling the most confident, and we deserve it.
Me
We need
too.
to stop looking at the little things that don't matter and start embracing ourselves and our authenticity even more.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So the top things that I would want people to leave with today are, if you are thinking about career advancement, now is the time to get it. I don't care if you are 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, wherever you're at. If you're thinking about it, you deserve it. I want you to focus on three things: your value, get very clear on your value.
Mhm.
I want you to focus on articulating it. Start telling your story. Start getting more confident in talking about your accomplishments and everything you bring to the table that makes you so amazing. And I want you to focus on visibility. Start connecting with people who need to know you. There are leaders at your company who don't know you that need to know you. Schedule some informational interviews. Make time for a coffee chat. Maybe you're not working currently and you're wanting to get back into the workforce. Reach out to some people you haven't spoken to maybe in 3 to 5 years. I've had people reach out to me after 15 to 20 years of not being in close contact and all of a sudden with, "Hey, I see you're doing something different. Let's catch up." I love
Yeah.
that. It's so
Yes.
great. It's
Yes.
never too late to rebuild that relationship and leverage it to help move yourself forward and also help them, because as long as we're helping each other, we're elevating and growing together.
That is so true. You never know what people, sometimes people are waiting. They want to go and have coffee or have tea or have, shameless plug, have some tea.
Lots of
but but
tea.
but they love that, and they love to hear about what you have going on. And a lot of people are open to it. Like I'll use myself as an example, and people call me all the time and say, "Oh, how did you do this?" or "How did you?" And I'm always like, "Oh, let me tell you all about it, and let me tell you what mistakes I made so you don't have to make the same mistakes." And so we just have to be willing to put ourselves out there, to get the resources and to get the information. And I think that's what we need to do, and that is what it's going to take for us to win, is just putting ourselves out there. And I know it comes with a level of vulnerability, but I know that we can do it. Ladies, I believe in you.
We can absolutely do it. And we've got to get out of our own way. We get in our
Yeah.
own way so much. One of the examples with the networking with women who are busy and working and doing all the things, there's this assumption that, oh, I can't bother her. She's too busy. Here is the thing, people want to help you. It's just human nature. I have never met someone who hasn't asked how they can help me. I will always reach out because I'm a good human. I'm very passionate about relationships and keeping relationships alive. I will reach out and ask someone, how are you doing? What can I do to support you? They will always ask back, how are you? And what can I do to support you? So it's
Yeah.
very simple. You just have to get in the practice, get out of your own way, and stop assuming someone's too busy or they don't want to talk to you because they do.
They do. They really, really do. So exactly what you said. Just let's get out of our own heads, get out of our way, and go out here and get promoted.
That's right.
Yes,
Oh my
get
gosh.
promoted. Yes.
Yeah.
Do you have any final words for us?
I'd say final words, just don't get inside your head. We kind of talked about that a little bit. Take action. Don't let the time keep passing you by. If you need some quick tips or strategies, I'm sure we'll share my connection information in the show notes. But
Yes.
absolutely, ladies, you deserve it. Go get it. Don't wait for someone else to bring it to you.
Absolutely. And I know you have a book. So tell us about
I
the
do.
book and how they can get the book and then also how we can connect with you. We definitely want to stay plugged in and stay connected with you with all these amazing secrets that you're giving us on how to win and how to get our next promotion.
I would love that. So to connect with me, I'm easy to find on LinkedIn. I'm the Tabatha Jones with all A's, no I's. So easy to find there. And then my book is promotion ready in 3 months. It's the Women's
Wow.
Guide to Career Advancement, and it is available on Amazon. So
Absolutely. Ladies, go grab that. Three
so many
months. I
secrets
mean,
in there.
I can imagine 3 months. Wow, that's a short time frame. So we can get the next thing. We can go in 3 months, ready to go. That's amazing.
Absolutely. Plant the seed today, and in 3 months, you will be ready.
Absolutely. I love that. Thank you so much, Tabitha, just for taking the time to share this information with us and to really help women, stand out and win. And, we really just appreciate you and all the work that you do. And I know a lot of the listeners will want to connect with you and talk to you more. I know everybody's journey is different. And, so I know there might be some ways that you can give some additional guidance. So ladies, please connect with Tabitha if this is an area that you want to build your confidence in. And so again, thank you, Tabitha. Thank you for joining us on Confidence Tea. We must do it again.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, this was such a pleasure. And I really appreciate you inviting me and look forward to staying in touch with you and anyone on the show who wishes to connect.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we will definitely reach back out. That way we can get you back on because I feel like this was such great information. And I know that a lot of our listeners are going to identify with this information. And so we definitely want to keep the relationship going.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another episode of Confidence Tea Infusions, where we aim to transform your mind, edify your soul, and activate your confidence. So, we had the amazing Tabatha Jones here telling us some proven secrets to stand out and win your next promotion. So, I look forward to seeing you guys next time. You have a wonderful day. And if anyone has not told you today, I love you. Have a good one. Bye bye.